Hey guys, we're back with another week of Find Your Film. This is for the week ending Friday, December 17th, 2021. December 17th, 2020. I can't believe it's been a year. Years passed by very, very quickly. Bruce Perky, aka Perk Trappy, or Perk Tappy. Are you this is a little nod to Topkapi, which is Eric Holmes's choice to watch this week, and it's going to be part of our segment for the Dean Koontz Wallet Watch. We're gonna actually rejig, or we're gonna actually just rediscuss why we're naming this Dean Koontz Wallet Watch. Bruce will talk about it when we get to the end of the episode. But Bruce, can you believe it's been about a year? And Eric, it's been about a year since we did, around this time, we were doing a review of The Father with Anthony Hopkins. Does time fly for you?
No, we weren't.
Is it? No, we weren't. No, we weren't.
No.
Yeah, doesn't time fly? I mean, as far as movies go, because you know what I'm thinking, Eric. What do you think? Because we have to watch maybe 4 to 5 movies a week. Do you think time, in essence, goes by a little bit faster because a lot of us are inundated by our respective screens during the week?
Definitely. In fact, if you go on the Cinematics Facebook page, Bruce has been putting the like 31 movies, and some of those Bruce.
Don't promote what Bruce is doing. Don't promote what Bruce.
I'm just saying.
What do you? Go ahead.
Some of the movies Bruce have been put up. I was like, oh yeah, like Mandibles. He put up Mandibles. I'm
I
like,
love that movie.
Oh, that was this year, wasn't it? Fuck, it felt like 2-3 years ago, but it was.
Yeah, we've just covered so many things, and Eric's referring to for our Cinematics Facebook group, which, by the way, listeners, you can join. Just join our Facebook group. Here, you get a couple of things. The most important thing is you get just really interesting cinephiles who are on a daily basis, like people like Matt Stillman, Joseph Bridges, Andrew Martin. The list goes on and on. Just different members posting movie recommendations for people to watch. So on the most important level, you get to actually, if you're part of the group, you get to have all these really cool recommendations, and then every single week I give away about 2 Blu-rays or DVDs each week to our members who join up. So check out our Cinematics Facebook group and Bruce Porky for 31 days. Like, it's not 31 days of Christmas, it's the 31 days of Cinephile Christmas. Every single day he's counting down to number 1, and each day he posts one of his favorite movies of the year. Bruce, do you remember what movie you really posted the last couple of days? What's been your last couple of selections as far as your top 31?
Yesterday it was Mandibles. Today it was a pair of movies. I'll only mention one of them. One of them was Saint Maud, and another one is maybe on today's show.
Yes, the second one is going. Why did you pair them? Because they're thematically, they just link up really well.
They link up well, and also everyone was like ragging out on Saint Maud, so I thought, well, I'm going to give them something else to choose from. If they really didn't like Saint Maud, I'm going to give them 2 choices.
Good. Now, guys, both you guys really enjoyed Saint Maud, if I recall. Do you understand why there are some people who are ragging on this film, or they don't like it, and why do some people really love it? I feel like there's a big disparity. Since I've never seen the movie, I'd like to hear what you guys think about Saint Maud, why there's such a big disparity of reactions.
Actually, from what I remember, it was kind of a slow burn. Although that's not really fair, because a lot of the people on the Cinematics Facebook group, like, slow burn doesn't necessarily mean a boring movie like it would to the mainstream movie audiences. Maybe it just didn't catch them. Like different movies. I mean, we've had this on this show, like Prisoners to Ghostland. I love that movie. Bruce hated it. So, yeah. I mean, different. What do you say?
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, but you got a different way of saying.
Oh, different courses for horses.
Yeah, there you go.
Or different horses for courses.
So maybe it's just one of those. Didn't grab. All the horses had different courses for that.
All the horses, or all the different pigs. There's different pigs for different styles. Bruce and I love pig, and you did. You liked pig, right? You liked pig, but you didn't love it as much as a lot of people loved it. Okay, so yes. Bruce, what's the one movie that you absolutely loved this year from the top of your head that you think that most people really did not glom onto or did not like? Is there one movie that you just flipped for that you felt that you're really in the minority in?
Maybe Come True. We'll see. I know a lot of people have almost a stronger opinion on that than they did on Saint Maud. So we'll see.
Okay, so for this week, we're gonna be covering. Well, I'm counting them. We're covering 4 movies this week. One of these movies is called Mother Android, and it's with Chloe Grace Moretz. I actually request this Hulu screener from the wonderful people at Hulu. They sent Bruce and Eric a screening link. For some reason they didn't send me one. I think I should have said, oh, also include me in that chain link, chain email, and I never received the link. Hopefully I'm sure Bruce and Eric will talk about whether this movie was actually worth Mother Android worth watching or not. That's one of the movies we're covering. We're covering a documentary just simply titled President. It's a follow-up to another documentary, I believe, called Democrats from 2014, which I've never seen. All three of us have seen President. I can't wait to hear what Eric Holmes has to say about President. The rumor has it, I think Bruce was telling me on messages on the AOL Messenger that while Eric was watching President, he was gleefully laughing and saying they deserve it. I don't know what that's about. So we're gonna get is that
The
a
exact
rumor?
opposite. I was trying not to punch a hole through the screen.
No, actually, he's trying to say that because he's I think I googled it. It said virtue signaling. I saw Eric watching President and what he was doing. Bruce, do you know what Eric was doing? Because I saw him. He actually was live watching it with a bunch of bourgeois folks from my area of Calabasas. He was watching President while eating cake, while eating a big cake. So we'll see.
Cake.
Okay, there's a lot of lies thrown out here by me, folks, by me. I'm the one who's lying. We're also going to be covering a movie called The Novice, which, going back to Eric Holmes, he also said, no, and this is the truth. The other stuff about the bourgeois, Marie Antoinette, French Revolution stuff is wrong and a lie. Okay, but The Novice, he said that. What did you say about The Novice? What's your movie quote, Eric? Do you remember your movie quote?
For The Novice?
Do you remember what you told Bruce?
I'm
and
looking
me?
forward to hearing what Bruce has to say about it because there's a certain part of it I didn't quite get.
Okay.
But I'm sure once Bruce starts talking about it, you'll see me go, and that's the thing clicking in my head, like the wires that aren't quite crossing that should be crossing.
Right.
I think while talking about The Novice, those wires will finally cross. It'll
these
spark that thing I was missing while watching the movie.
Are these wires spoiler driven? Is that something that we have to talk
No.
off pod? Oh, no. Okay.
No.
Very
In fact,
good.
I think the thing that I'm confused about would be best explained going in. Because if you're like me, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about it in a few. Okay, in a few. So that's The Novice. Okay, I can't wait to talk about The Novice. And last but not least is a movie called Schemes in Antiques, which, oh, wait. Going back to your movie quote regarding The Novice, Eric Holmes, your quote unquote movie quote was, "This is the best rowing film I've ever seen." So that was
Oh, yeah,
pretty
that's
catchy.
true. That's true.
And you got me to actually watch it immediately as soon as you said best rowing film ever. So that still holds for you, right? After several days
Yeah.
after, okay.
I mean, unfortunately for The Novice, it's not a high bar to clear, but I think they're not. We'll get there.
Well, Bruce, I hear Bruce. I might be throwing another lie. Bruce, did you prefer Heart of Champions over The Novice?
Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called. it like talk about one eye, in one eye and out the other. Boy, that movie was right out my other eye. No, yes, I loved Hearts of
Champions or Heart of
so
Champions?
much.
Heart of Palm. I don't know what it's called.
Twilight Rowing. What was it called?
Twilight Rowing. But is this the best rowing movie you have ever seen, Bruce? The Novice. Can you think of a?
Trying to think. There's a lot of rowing, I think, in Jason and the Argonauts, possibly. I like that quite a bit. So,
Very good. And last but not least, we are covering a Well Go USA Entertainment release called Schemes and Antiques, a movie which is kind of like National Treasure, kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I found it very interesting. Would love to hear what Eric and Bruce as well think of Schemes in Antiques. First, let's get to the movie that, since I don't want to speak anymore, because I'm boring. I want to hear what you guys think of the new Hulu film, Mother Android. Hits Hulu specifically on this Friday. So let's start off first. Bruce, Chloe Grace Moretz. It's a post-apocalyptic android movie. She's a human. She's pregnant. And it's an apocalyptic wasteland. Is it also called Children of Men? I don't know what anyways, but what did you think? Tell us about this movie for people. Should they watch it? All that stuff. Give us a
sure, yeah. So the basic, it starts out really simple concept. If I remember correctly, she's at a party. She just found out she's pregnant. Her boyfriend and her, she's kind of in this weird place, like it wasn't exactly planned. And they go out to the party, and you quickly discover that people in this slightly futuristic world, like, I don't know, not very many years in front of us, have androids just walking around, you know, serving at the party and stuff, and you see it happening. And then within seconds, or seems like seconds, very quickly, something happens, code is sent out, or something goes crazy, and the androids all go after the humans, and people just start dying and getting killed right away. And they escape, and it's on at that point. And you're following.
But is it really on, Bruce? Is it? You said it's on, but is it on?
Okay. So my bottom line on this is it's a solid episode of The Walking Dead, but instead of zombies, there's robots, basically. It's kind of preposterous. It's like The Walking Dead, it's overly dour. Sometimes to a good point. Sometimes the seriousness of it is okay. Sometimes it's a little bit like, okay, I would like to have had a little more fun. Like, you know, I would like to have a little more action. There's some action in here. I'd say it's decent. It's decent. Okay. Chloe Grace apparently is carving out a niche for herself as a mother or mother-to-be in crazy worlds, because she's done 2 this year already. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe her clock is ticking and she sees it happening in an apocalyptic world. I don't know, but it's not terrible. It's on, I think this is on Hulu, you said.
Hulu, yes,
this is
Hulu.
Like what you normally would describe, oh God, Hulu will never take us again. What you normally would describe as a decent Netflix movie. This is kind of one of those.
Okay.
So.
This is our last greeting link ever from Hulu. Thank you, Bruce, for that endorsement. Just kidding. Now, that said, okay, I will defend you, Bruce. You are a big advocate of Chloe Grace Moretz vis-a-vis the Hulu release, which you can watch on Hulu, Shadow in the Cloud, right? That's one movie that
Yes.
you really... Okay, so...
Yeah, I'm on day 16 this year for the 31 of 21, and it hasn't appeared yet.
Oh my gosh. Shadow in the Cloud is really high for you. Eric Holmes, was Shadow in the Cloud very high for you as well? Have you seen that yet? Oh.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I think you and I have to actually watch it because if it's one of a top 15 for Bruce Perky, Shadow in the freaking Cloud, I might have to actually...
Maybe Shadow in the Cloud is the one that everyone hates that I like. I think that might be the one.
That's amazing. Eric Holmes, what about this movie, Mother Android? Bruce said it's a solid episode of The Walking Dead, but with androids. How did you feel about this overall genre pick?
I thought this was a really good Terminator movie. It's got the beginning was kind of slow going. I wasn't quite feeling it. And then just some part around the halfway mark, I started kind of getting into it and started thinking of this with a minor rewrite, this could have been like the Terminator 3 that everyone was hoping would happen. And it did it with characters that I'm going to speak of this as if it were a Terminator sequel. You have a similar world, but just different characters. And if you do a sequel with something like Terminator, that's kind of where you want to go with it. We know Sarah Connor's story. We know John Connor's story. Let's go see what other characters are doing in this world. Now, this is not a Terminator movie, but that's kind of what I had in my mind while I was watching it. And this was pretty good. There's a part with the leg that got me squirming in my seat a bit. Yeah, and the ending, God, what can you say about the ending without giving anything away? Nothing. But the ending.
Did it work? Did the ending work for you?
Yes.
Okay.
I was dropping more than a few. I'm just not going to talk anymore. I really liked the ending.
But it worked. Okay, you were dropping. Okay, I heard the word dropping. Okay, so yeah, guilty as charged. But okay, well, look, at least you didn't say too much about the ending. It was memorable for you, right?
Yeah. Yes. In fact, it was one of those movies. After it was over, I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. And then the next day, I kept thinking of it. It's like, no, that movie was really good. And then the next day, I'm like still thinking about it and go, I really like that movie a lot. And so it kind of stuck with me. And I'm guessing if I watch that movie, like this would be one of those movies. Like I think the more I watch it, the more I'll like it. And I already like it. So it's already starting pretty high with me.
Bruce,
would you? I just had a thought as you were talking. So you're crossing wires in my head, or connecting wires. Do you agree? This is kind of speaking to the end, but not saying what happens in the end. Would you agree this could actually be followed up? This could be a really interesting origin story where the next one takes place, like, I don't know, 18, 20 years in the future, because you've set up some storylines that are unresolved in this movie.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with that. And yes, I absolutely agree. And I will be there day one for it.
And this is definitely This is elevated by Chloe Grace and the lead gentleman in here. Is it Algie Smith? Is he the main
Yes, Algie
guy?
Smith, I believe, that's the main actor, right? It says
Who
here
was
he's
also in
second build.
Detroit. He was in
Yeah.
Detroit and he was really good.
All right.
I would say without them in here kind of really being the core. I mean, some of the stuff I agree with Eric where it's kind of like, they kind of talked a lot. We want to get to the robots a little bit quicker. But other than that, they're really solid in this. And I think without them being so solid, this could have been a lot worse.
Okay, well, Eric said he would be in line for that 20 years in the future sequel. Bruce, would you be in line as far as would you give this a sequel a shot if proposed sequel happens?
Yeah, I think the sequel I might like better than this, honestly. It could be
Okay.
more interesting even. I think there's some intriguing ideas that could come and play there.
Okay, so this is Hulu's Mother Android again, premiering Friday, December 17th, 2021. Let's go for the finally doing ratings, doing final ratings. Bruce Berkey, your rating for Mother Android.
To me, it's right between a 3 and a 3.5. I'm probably a little more 3, but I could be talked up to 3.5.
Okay, let's not talk you up. Let's just keep you at 3 since I'm existential. Eric Holmes, how about you? What you got?
I think it was 3.5, but I think if I watch it a couple more times, it might bump up to a 4.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna keep you at a 3.5 with the potential at
Yeah,
4.
I'm at 3.5 now.
You're
I'm just
3.5
saying,
now.
It could get better upon more viewings.
Okay, very good. So it is a solid recommend for you, Eric, and mild recommend for you. You're interested, interesting enough for you, Bruce.
Yeah.
So that is Hulu's Mother Android. Very interesting. I'm a little bit remiss that I didn't get to see this movie. This sounds like it has a lot of potential behind it. And Bruce, did you like the ending of this movie?
I
You
did
worked
and
for
I
him.
didn't.
Okay.
I can't talk about it.
Okay, you did.
It was
you didn't.
okay. It wasn't. It was better than this kind of movie a lot of times is. So I would say yes, I liked it.
Okay. Now, so that's it. I'm excited about that movie and to see that movie. Here's the thing that I think, look, the year's almost over. I'm trying to think of movies that surprised me the most. The movie that absolutely surprised me the effing most is right now. Here it is. The movie's called The Novice, which, like Eric Holmes said, best rowing movie ever. Simply put, it centers on a college freshman played by Isabel Furman. You might know Isabel Furman as the lead in that wonderful horror thriller Orphan. She played Orphan, and she played the kid in that. That's when she was a kid. Now she's an adult playing a college student, that said. And she is determined to become the top rower in the squad. The only thing is, she's not even varsity. She's first year in college, but she is so determined to actually climb up that rowing ladder. She actually pretty much risks life and limb, her sanity, just to actually she basically tries to Kobe Bryant her way to success. Like Bruce said, this has a lot of Whiplash vibes to it, but it's its own film. And I ended up really being surprised at how much I loved this movie. Eric Holmes, what did you think of The Novice? And what stood out for you with this movie?
Well, I love the lead actor. What was her name? Isabel.
Furman. Yeah, Isabel Furman.
Yeah, she was really good. I liked how this is weird to say, but like the editing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parts in this movie where the character is like kind of like very on edge or like about to go nuts. And the editing, a lot of times that's like a stylized thing that kind of takes away from the movie. But I think in this one, it kind of put me in that same kind of unease. And so that part really worked. I guess the part that I didn't quite get was I didn't understand why she wanted to be the best at rowing. I think I missed something there. And that's kind of that's the part I'm wanting to hear from Bruce with, because normally this thing is like, I've worked my whole life to row, or, my parents don't love me, but if I become a better rower, then I didn't catch any of that. She just seemed to want to be a rower just almost out of nowhere. I didn't quite understand. I wasn't connecting to that part, and I didn't quite get that.
The problem with explaining that, Eric, is you will explain a very big part of what the movie's going for. So I don't know if Bruce, can you dance around that and try to explain it to Eric, or do you agree with me that it would really undercut the spine of the film?
I don't know if it would undercut the spine of the film. I'm kind of torn. I don't know if this is a movie that you really can spoil too much, other than maybe to say the outcome of certain competitive events in this. I mean, those could be spoiled. I don't know if the themes per se, talking about those, really spoil it. Like, I don't think that they would keep me away from it if I knew the themes were around a certain type of subject.
Go for it then.
I wonder if I'm that removed from the movie that I didn't even notice that there was a spoiler in this movie.
Well, I mean, like, there's a certain event that happens towards the end. I guess you could say how that plays out. That would be, I mean, technically a spoiler, but that's not really what the movie's about per se. Yeah, I can talk about it, and if you think it's spoiling it, Greg, just cut some things out. That's fine.
I'm not going to cut things out. In fact, I'm going to leave what you just said to me right now. How's that? Take that, Bruce.
Cut that out. Greg, cut it out.
Explain away.
I don't know if I'm explaining. I'm just saying my take on this. First of all, it's going to get a lot of comparisons to Whiplash. I think that makes sense, but I think it also kind of doesn't make sense because if you look at Whiplash, Whiplash is such a stereotypical like male version of like this kind of combative one-upsmanship, teacher versus student, student becoming the master, you know, this kind of stuff. There's all of this kind of head-to-head battling, and The Novice is not that. The Novice, you know, it's in this rowing field of excellence, right? So there's that aspect. I think to me what was really telling is, so throughout the movie you see her in her class as well. She's in this class, and she keeps staying after to take these tests, like till the very, very end, and she does it 3 times, try to get it just right. And then you see that her grades aren't that great. And I kept thinking as I was watching this is, you know how some people, when they get into their first year of college, they get out of high school, and they have always been able to achieve outwardly in a way that is, you know, superior in their realm of high school or whatever that is. And she gets there, and she isn't necessarily hitting at that level. And that's part of what's going on here. But I think the bigger part, and once again, tell me if you think I'm stepping on stuff, this almost works like, I think she's battling with her perception of herself as like valuable, and she wants it to be done in a way that's absolutely quantifiable.
Okay.
So she's constantly doing something quantifiable that will tell her, it's almost like body dysmorphia in a weird way.
I got
like people
you.
that look in the mirror, and it's interesting that it ties into various obsessive natures about her as well. There, you see what I'm saying? Like people that look in the mirror and they always trying to get that perfect look to say that they're beautiful, even though the average person look at them and say like, you're doing great. So it really it dives into that on her personality in a really interesting way, and it is so tense and so intense and so focused on her character. I think this is such an amazing character study as far as that goes.
Agreed.
And,
yep.
And then on top of that, and I'll just stop talking for a little while, and then on top of that, it's kind of a weird indictment, or at least a discussion of organized sports. Like, what is the goal of organized sports? Is it to be a team? Is it to be a member of a team that succeeds? Or is it to personal excellence? And what is personal excellence? Is it being the best, the fastest, the best scorer? All that stuff's going on here, and I think it's really interesting.
I'll tell you my read. It's a different read, a little bit of a different read. Well, again, Isabel Furman, she's Alex. She's the main character. She has friends from this. She has a friend from high school, and then there's another girl, and the other girl is actually more athletically gifted than she is. She is also a freshman, but she's pretty much in line to become a varsity, one of the varsity members eventually, just because of her talent. Thing with Alex, though, is she is not a natural rower. And what Alex likes to do is when she sees an imperfection as far as, and she has a slight motivation towards improving that craft, she will follow that to just to the furthest degree. So she will basically look at one of her weakest points, like physics, in her, like majoring in physics, which she's not a specialty at. She will take the weakest part of her acumen or her knowledge, and she will try to become the best at it no matter what, even though the odds are absolutely stacked up against her. That's what gets her going every single day. She has no chance of actually becoming one of the best rowers on the squad, and she knows that from the get-go. And she will do whatever it takes to get to the top, even though for 99.99% of people in this world, when they see the odds are against them, they're going to say, well, you know what? I'm not good at this. I'm not good at rowing. I'll go play Monopoly, or I'll do something else, or I'll study history. And people will focus on their strengths. Alex, what she likes to focus in is on her weaknesses, and she likes to carve them out into her strength. So that is her motivation, Eric. I mean, that's the unspoiler way of saying that she has that singular focus to be the best. And what makes The Novice very interesting is she is such a single-minded person that she does not the reason why she does it isn't really completely explained until the end of the movie. And that reason is something that is not stereotypical. And I found that to be very, very interesting. Eric, you mentioned a point about the editing in this movie. I think that the writer director of this, what is her name? I'm gonna look it up right now. Lauren Hadaway. De Palma is my favorite filmmaker because he'll use sound, visual composition, editing, all that stuff to the split screen stuff. He'll immerse you in cinema. And this movie, for its 95 minutes, through the use of editing, Bruce, like you said, through the use of music and especially the performances, you're just completely immersed right from minute one. Okay. But Eric, do you think there's some people who might not like the Novice, that it's maybe too insular? Do you think or Bruce, do you think there's a barrier to entry as far as?
I think the way you and Bruce described it it definitely made a couple of things click. I guess I kind of wish that I got that from the movie more, and it's clearly in there because you and Bruce both picked up on it. Maybe they could have held my hand a little more. But what's the director? Laura Hadaway?
Lauren Hadaway, yeah. Lauren Hadaway.
I'm wondering, based on that, do we give this movie 1 star so she can try to make a better movie next time and just keep fighting?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't.
That's so funny. Yeah.
I thought maybe that was the message the filmmaker was trying to give to the reviewers. Give me a shitty review.
So I can be like the best. I can be Kubrick. So
I think that a part of what you're getting at too, Eric, here is that part of what this movie's playing with is just playing with the expectation of the underdog story.
Yeah.
Like it's so ingrained in sports cinema to have the underdog story. And this really plays with that idea and does some weird stuff with it. So I think that makes it hard too, because as a viewer we're so submerged in like what that is going to look like that it throws us off balance. We're like, well, wait, is she an asshole? Am I rooting for her? So it really throws you in a weird place. But that is obviously intentional, but it also makes it a little harder to grasp onto what we're trying to do here.
I think this is a star-making performance for Isabel Fuhrman. She's going to get a lot more roles thanks to this film and Lauren Hadaway. This movie's received its share of Independent Spirit nods and did really well in Tribeca, won its share of awards. Look for Lauren Hadaway's career to also skyrocket as a filmmaker, but it's going to be very interesting to see Isabel Fuhrman's career from here on out because, look, to be honest, if I actually received a screener link of The Novice before I voted for Critics' Choice, she would have been my top 5 as far as actress performances of the year. I saw it after the deadline. So final round of ratings. Eric Holmes, your rating for The Novice.
I'll probably go 3 stars on this.
Okay.
It'd probably be higher if I wasn't so stupid.
Okay, 3 stars for Eric Holmes. Bruce Berkey, your call.
4.5.
4.5 stars for Bruce Berkey. Again, this is one of his top 20 films of 2021. I believe that's number 19 for you, and that tied with Saint Maud. Am I correct on this, Bruce?
1918, something like that. Yeah, I forget which one.
Yes. 4.5 stars for Bruce Berkey, 3 stars for Eric Holmes. I give this movie, without even blinking, 5 stars. The Novice, one of my favorite films this year, possibly a top 5 film for me. The Novice. Again, it hits theaters. Hits theaters and digital Friday, December 17th. We'd love to hear what you guys think about The Novice. Are you some of you will be in Eric's camp? Maybe you'll say, you know what? You wish maybe some of these themes these messages would have been.
They won't. Our listeners are much more bright than I am.
Oh, okay. All right.
They'll be able to pick up what she's laying down.
I don't want you to be self-deprecating, Eric, because that's my bag. Stay away from my bag, man. Let me row my own freaking race, okay, Eric?
Yeah, I won't do the self-deprecating stuff anymore. I'm not good at it anyway. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you want to hear some more...
You see what I did there?
Yeah, you're very good. You're very good. If you want to hear some more self-deprecating humor, just listen to me self-deprecate my way through 90 minutes with Anderson Cowan every month on Cinematics. So that's me being my own, self-deprecating way. But I'm so glad that we all enjoyed it. And who knows, Eric, you gave it 3 stars. Maybe down the road, if you do a rewatch, it might even upscale for you, just like
I think so. And I'm this is one of those movies I'm kind of glad we got into it a little more. Even if it spoils something, which I don't think it will.
No, it didn't.
But I think it did. Like, if I was listening to you guys talk about this before I watch it, this definitely would have helped me along quite a bit. So good job.
Ending, Eric, did it work for you? The ending?
Yes.
Oh, the ending worked for you. Okay, Bruce, did the ending work for you?
Oh yeah, I love the ending. A couple things in the ending I really liked. Oh, it's good.
My goodness, that ending. I have not been surprised by a sports, quote unquote, sports movie since maybe, look, I might be exaggerating, but I was surprised the first time I saw Rocky. This ending absolutely floored me. Okay, now, before we get to that really heavy movie this week, the documentary, let's start with something a little bit light. Schemes in Antiques, in theaters December 17th. Welgo USA Entertainment. I don't even know how to begin. I really want to foist the plot line to Bruce or Eric, but I'm just going to do it right now. I'm going to read the summary straight from the email. Despite his now disgraced family's famed expertise on ancient relics, Zhu Yan makes a simple living as the owner of an electronics shop. But after stumbling upon a mystery surrounded by an ancient stolen relic, he embarks on a dangerous journey to restore his family's tarnished reputation. So that's basically a layabout named Zhu Yan. I'm mispronouncing his name. He has an electronics store. His grandfather was disgraced. His father, left him as a kid, and he comes from a family that is very disgraced, and because of some kind of relic. And now the relic years later is making its way back to him, but he has competition because he has no idea that this relic, which is a Buddha head, which is like several centuries old Buddha head, may or may not be fake. So he goes on a journey with a couple of other people to find the real Buddha's head, and he has competition along the way. It is directed by Derek Kwok and KWOK. This is a very interesting movie. It's all over the place. I mean this in the best way, but I'm going to shut up. Bruce Perky, Schemes in Antiques. Lots of stuff there. Gumbo pot here.
Right. And out of the gate, we described it as very similar to like National Treasure in kind of spirit, I guess you'd say. And like you said, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think it's a little more National Treasure than Raiders. But I like the National Treasure movies. I think those are really a lot of fun. I like the puzzles. I like the kind of globe-trotting nature of them, and just kind of the I think this, though, I really enjoyed this quite a bit. I thought the characters were really colorful and interesting, and we kept meeting new characters. There's a point where they go to a village and they meet this kind of this leader of this, I don't know what he's at, like a gang of this, village elder. I don't know what he was exactly.
And they're up in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah.
What?
And it was really good. I've never seen a movie that had antique identifying duels.
Antique Wars?
Yes.
I've never seen an antique duel, which lasted for about 8 minutes, right?
I would never thought that they would be entertaining, and I was entertained. It's ludicrous throughout, but in a fun way, I think in a fun way. And I thought the characters were all entertaining and lovable. There was like the old friend of the dead father of the main character.
And you don't know if he's good or bad.
Right. And he's kind of this scallywag that's kind of comes along with the group. And then the main dude is kind of this down and out, like...
Wait, ding, 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 ding. Eric, I don't think we've ever used scallywag. That is first entry, first word ever used in our universe. What do you think of that, Eric? How come you and I couldn't come up with scallywag? How come it had to be Bruce?
I was actually saying scallywag a bunch at work today, so
okay,
I'm
that
actually
doesn't...
amazed that Bruce is saying it right now.
Okay, Bruce, keep on going. Sorry.
And last thing I want to say, I was thoroughly entertained by this movie. It gave me exactly what I wanted from a movie like this. I felt it was really satisfying. And, it's not going to win awards. It's not going to, blow your mind, but it's going to give you a good time. This is going to do what Red Notice wanted to do.
Okay. By the way, folks, I really enjoyed Red Notice. Please don't hate me for that. Eric and Bruce are actually the logical ones in Find Your Film, and they roundly drubbed Red Notice. So
I never reviewed Red Notice.
That's true.
Well, you never about this book, Orphan Surfacing by Nathan Day.
Very good.
Talked quite a bit about that, but I don't believe I actually reviewed Red Notice.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for that correction. Again, Nathan Day. What is the name of the book again? One more time, Eric. It's out on Amazon.
Nathan Day,
and that
wrote a book, Orphan Surfacing. You can find it on Amazon.com.
Okay. And Nathan Day is a good buddy of ours. He's part of our whole Cinematics Facebook group community, Schemes in Antiques. Before we get to you, Eric, Bruce, there's something to be said about making light entertainment not a pejorative. Making light entertainment, but successful light entertainment. There has to be, right? There has to be something said.
Yeah. Well, it's like an unpretentious meal that's satisfying. Is what this kind of movie is.
Okay, cool. Unpretentious meal that's satisfying. Is that how you felt about Schemes and Antiques? Eric, what did you think?
I like Schemes and Antiques. Same with what Bruce said about they're having the antique off or whatever.
Yeah, right. Antique off, yes.
So I'll watch episodes of Pawn Stars on YouTube, and every once in a while they'll get like an old thing, and they're like, "Well, I don't know much about old sea scrolls. Let me go grab my sea scroll expert Jim and have him come in and take a look at it." And then Jim will come in, look at the sea scroll, and go, "Oh yeah, you see this right here, and this marking, and this denotes this and that, and yes, you have this is an authentic or this is a fake." That scene and other scenes like it throughout this movie kind of hit that same part of my brain, that same pleasure spot of my brain. So watching that was really fun. The plot was really hard to follow, but I think with stuff like this, it's kind of like it's kind of like a spy movie where the plot almost doesn't matter. Like
Right.
it's there, but I think you're there for and it's weird. You can't really call this a heist movie. It kind of is. It's got puzzles and stuff like you would find in like Indiana Jones. But a lot of it's them, like the interesting parts is whenever they go for the antiques and they got to look at the antiques and, find little cracks or little details about it that make them know whether it's legit or not. One problem I had, and I don't think this is a fault of the movie, but the subtitles were really tiny and they went by really fast. And I think if I knew Cantonese, I'm assuming that's what the language is in this.
I'm thinking either Cantonese or Mandarin. I don't
Probably.
know.
Well, whatever the language is, had I known that would not be an issue at all. But as someone that doesn't speak the language, such as myself, that was kind of a barrier to entry, and I think it will be for some people. I would say if you're watching this streaming, which I'm guessing a lot of people will watch this on, I might turn the subtitles off and turn the closed captioning subtitles on. That might help a lot because the letters are bigger. That probably go slower. Normally it's not something I usually pick on with the movie, but this I was struggling with some parts, especially when they talk back and forth and they talk fast back and forth, and I'm just like, and I can't keep up with it. But I mean, from a filmmaking standpoint, even not being able to follow all of the dialogue, it's just one of those movies. It's just good filmmaking. So like you can kind of, even without knowing the language, you can kind of tell what's going on, even with something as a plot as convoluted as this one. But overall, yeah, this was quite enjoyable and
Cool. I also have to mention. Oh yeah, Eric, you were saying?
oh, good times. That was
Good
it.
times. Good times. So I have to also mention. I'm mispronouncing the name Jin Zile, and she is the female interest, not love interest. She's a female. She's the lead, co-lead in this movie, sort of. She's a supporting. She's a person who supports this guy on his journey. And what's really cool about this, without giving too much away, she's not a stereotypical female adventurous. Their relationship goes in a much different way, and I thought that was very refreshing as well. And also, this is one of these things that's a weird thing about this movie. Schemes and Antiques. If you're English, it's hard for me to remember the moniker. It's light entertainment, but when you, like Bruce was saying, when you dive a little bit deeper, the third act, there is an action sequence which occurs in the village, and then they go into the mountains, and it's just elongated, and it's pretty cool when you just strip it down. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna copy you guys. I was giving this movie a straight 3.5 stars, but I wouldn't argue if it went to 4. But right now, I'm going to give Schemes and Antiques, which opens Friday in theaters, I'm going to give it a solid recommend with 3.5 stars. Eric, what about you?
I would agree with you on the 3.5 stars, but I mean, I spent so much time watching those Pawn Star videos, and this did that same thing, so I can't give it 3.5 stars. I have to go 4 stars.
4 stars, very cool.
It was just too enjoyable not to do that.
Very good, Eric. Okay, and even with a complaint with the subtitles, so good on you on that.
But
okay,
that's my fault. That's not the movie's fault.
Fair, Bruce.
To keep the trend going of not going with our rating system, I'll give it 3.75 stars.
Oh, you're horrible. You're horrible. Where are you bumping it? What are you leaning towards? Where's the golf ball going? Is it going over the hill or under the hill? Bunker?
I'll give it 3.5 stars. But I want to mention that the fact that it had a sequence in here which I would never expect in this movie, where they all tried on clothes like in like in Pretty Woman or something, it goes to 4 stars.
Okay, so we're gonna say 4 stars for Bruce, 4 stars for Eric, and 3.5 stars for me. And you know what? I'll be honest. The reason why I'm giving it 3.5 stars is I'm gonna shame myself. I'm the kind of guy who puts Grey Poupon on his bread. So that's a very bourgeois rating for me. If you want to really enjoy it, go for the 4-star reviews.
Oh, come on! You know you put Greg Poupon on your.
Okay, that's
I would say,
that's a little
listeners,
bit.
do not poop on your bread.
No, do not.
Greg,
Very
stop
good.
pooping on your bread.
No pouponing on my bread. But Schemes and Antiques, 4 stars for Eric, 4 stars for Bruce, and a shameful 3.5 stars for me. Again, in theaters December 17th. Now, that was a very good light entertainment. Another movie that has a lot of light entertainment, but it's actually not very light, but very heavy and depressing and dark, and I can't believe I saw this movie without actually crying, is a documentary called President. Set in Zimbabwe, set during the elections of Zimbabwe, and we follow the life and the journey of one of the main opposition leader who is trying to run for president against the actual incumbent. And we are basically treated to it's like kind of like The Novice. You're right in there for the entire documentary. There are no friggin' talking heads. There's no elongated montages to fill up the documentary. Nope. Your boots on. You're right there from minute on till the end. It is immersive. It is heartbreaking. It is shattering. We're not going to give away what's going on, but I was pretty much rocked by President Eric Holmes. You were the last one to see President. Bruce and I were waiting on bated breath to hear what you had to say about this movie. What'd you think?
Oh, this movie pissed me the fuck off.
Oh, really?
The politicians are the fucking worst, and this movie explains exactly why I think that. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't mean I hated the movie. This movie's awesome. It's one of those documentaries that does what documentaries like these need to. Just, hey, here's this fucked up thing that's going on by a bunch of people who are doing fucked up shit, and fuck those people, and they just keep getting away with all this stuff. And it's just infuriating to watch.
Well, what did you think of the main guy, the opposition leader? His name's Nelson Chamisa, Chamisa. He's pretty much front and center throughout the entire documentary.
He comes off good on this, but also that's another problem I have with politicians. The movie presents him that way. I don't know what he's actually like. And so I know how politicians are here, and I know how people can, you can get someone to make a documentary about Donald Trump and edit it in a certain way, play it in a foreign country with someone that doesn't know who Donald Trump is, and go, he seems like a great guy. It's I can't say one way or another. I can say, based on the certain things that go on in the documentary, that there's just stuff that's like, why is that a thing? And then watch the reactions of the government and the military and how they deal with that. And then I just wonder, okay, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. The January 6th siege on the White House, if stuff was going on like what was going on in this documentary, that's when you should do something like that. Not because my billionaire rapist idiot didn't win against your billionaire rapist idiot. Like the stuff that's going on and the stuff that the government lets get by is absolutely disgusting. And of course, this is me assuming that the documentarians are telling the whole truth. I think they are. Like nothing really came across as they're lying one way or another, or not telling the whole truth. And at the same time, I know how our government works, and so the idea that it can be this bad doesn't really surprise me. And a lot of that goes on here. Maybe not to that. No. Yes, to that degree. We just don't know a lot of it. We put up with a lot of it. But yeah, this documentary infuriated me for all the reasons that it should infuriate me, and that it should infuriate anyone watching it. And it's a sad state of affairs, but that's what documentaries do sometimes. You're not supposed to feel giddy and happy watching them all the time.
I would have liked to have put a nice little cherry on top, a nice little button to your review of this and say, oh, well, this documentary is a call to arms. But man, this documentary, the way it lays things out, it is just tough sledding and tough to watch, man. I'm 100% agree with you here, Eric Holmes. Now, Bruce, for the Sundance Film Festival this year, President received an award for Special Jury Award for Cinema Verite filmmaking. It's critically acclaimed. It's received its share of awards. Are those awards warranted? From your opinion, what do you overall think of President?
Yes, I would say they are warranted. For a lot of the reasons you just talked about, or Eric just talked about. What I think was really key about it too was that it assumes, rightly so, that a lot of us, especially here in the West, will know nothing about Zimbabwe politics. And going into this movie knowing nothing about Zimbabwe politics makes it all the more effective, because essentially the drama plays out in real time for us, in that we start before the election, this young upstart, whether he is really good or not, he's presented as the alternative to 40 years of dictatorship that's still in power, essentially, with the predecessor of the previous dictator. And you just watch step by step by step how they try to, for the first time in a long time, win a democratic election in this country.
That's not rigged, right?
Yeah, that's not rigged. And you just see all the different things that play out. And as it plays out, it's just dramatic. And it's kind of remarkable in that way. And I was thinking about it as I was watching this, thinking we had Riding with Fire, we had 1,000 Cuts all this year.
Yes.
And these kind of movies are some of the main reasons that documentaries should exist, because, are we going to get to these other countries? Are we going to pay attention to these other countries if someone doesn't show it to us? And it also it's kind of it's a double thing, right? It shows you, in some ways, the sad side of things is things are somewhat the same all over, but it also humanizes and empathizes you with the actual world events that are going on. And it can actually maybe fire you up and anger you in your own world, or inspire you in your own world, especially like we saw with Riding with Fire and with this movie. We have people going in. There's a point in here where, what is it? Nelson Chamisa, before he even starts this, they talk about how he was almost beaten to death before he even started this campaign, right? So right off the gate, they show you the stakes are high with this. And as it progresses, you understand what the stakes are for these various people. And you're thinking and we're complaining about, I had to, the line is going to take me 2 hours today to get a vote in, or something like that. So these kind of documentaries, and like you talked about with Riding with Fire, the role of the press, what the press can actually do. So I think that these are kind of essential film watching. I'm sorry, am I pissing you off more, Eric?
You mentioned the press, and I completely forgot about that. They failed their people too.
Yeah,
oh Jesus!
There's only essential. It's essential viewing. It's essential viewing. It'll piss you off, but that's okay. It's okay to be pissed off. You should watch it.
Here's the thing. There's enough room for everyone to sit at the table. Why do people in power need to take up 2, 3, 4 seats? Why? You're in a position where you can help people. Why is this so hard? Who's going to pay for it? You can pay for a military, cut that down, help people. I gotta buy blah blah blah. Oh, Jesus, stuff just infuriates me.
You know what's very harrowing is when
this is entirely triggering, because it would be so easy to be in power, help everyone, and you're still living large too. You can do all that at the same time, and people choose not to. It seems that every choice a politician makes, and Bruce, you mentioned waiting in line 2 hours, which isn't as big of a deal, but it kind of is. Voting shouldn't be that hard. Voting, they do it on American Idol in a matter of hours or minutes. They can do that for for our elected officials, but they make it difficult. Why? Because they want to stay in power. Why? I don't know. Because they want to actively not help people.
We do our banking online. We buy everything online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good news about this
and
movie is it shows us how actually streamlined and on the up and up the voting the voting process is, and the voting
Oh
commission as
shit.
far as
you
getting
son of a bitch.
the ballots go out.
Can we
Hey, you
hi-
know what? The polling? Yeah, yeah. We're just tabulating the votes. Oh, it takes us 5 days. That's part of the Constitution. So, they
Oh,
just
we
follow
don't
it.
talk about what happened at the polling places. You'll find out when you watch this movie.
You'll find
Oh,
out.
And
You'll find out.
and can we highlight? Wow, that news conference. There's a news conference sequence in this that is
jeez.
just fucking mind blowing. The whole
one?
thing.
Oh yeah, which one? Which one?
There's one that
Yes, we can't. We
yeah.
can't. Well, there's this one set. Even the rallies. Well, when Nelson Chamisa goes out to the local towns and the people, and it's flooded with people, right? And they're listening to him. And actually, at one of the rallies, he asks him. He wants a little bit more economic parity, right? In Zimbabwe, and he asks, "How many of you in here have actually, for your work, have actually had a pay stub or a paycheck or a pay stub and actually had to fill it in, right? A pay slip?" And hardly anyone actually raised their hand. And that just blows you away. And that's just one of the many little moments in this movie that will leave you shocked. President, it hits theaters Friday, December 17th from Greenwich Entertainment. This is one of these, it's a labor of love documentary, meaning it's going to be hard to find in theaters. You might be able to see it and download it on digital, unfortunately, until February 18th. So we're going to make sure we re-promote this when it comes out February 18th. I'm giving this movie an easy 4.5 stars. Really love this documentary. Eric Holmes, your rating on this film?
This movie meant to incite and piss me off, and that's exactly what it did. 5 stars.
5 stars, yes.
And
Again,
dude. I think this movie will infuriate a lot of people, and if it doesn't, what's wrong with you?
I do not want to be in the room when a certain something happened in this movie. By the way, this movie is executive produced by Danny Glover and Tandy Newton. So, okay. Also, Bruce, I forgot your rating. What is your rating? 5 from Eric, 4.5 from me.
4.5.
4.5. Okay. High marks from all around. And any closing remarks regarding President? This is a movie it's hard to talk about because I'm still shook thinking about the documentary. By the way, yes.
Can you cut
Eric.
this down for this to be my full review?
Yes, it's directed by Camilla Nielsen. And what's interesting about President, this movie is not a standalone documentary. After this, I actually wanted to hunt down her previous documentary. This is a follow-up to her movie, Democrats, which is set in Zimbabwe. So, yeah. Oh my, yeah, right, Eric, you're thinking,
I can't do it. I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm sure that is also 5 stars. I can't do it.
You can't do, Bruce, can you do it? Can you do Democrats if it was in streaming? Would you check it out? Would you hunt it down?
Sure, I'd do it.
Yes. Okay. So that's wow.
Give me at least a month. Let me cool down for at least a month.
I didn't say I was going to do it tonight.
Oh well, then eventually, yes.
Right. Okay. So you know what? For Eric's Christmas present, Bruce and I, we're gonna get him Blu-rays of President and Riding with Fire, and we're gonna actually put him into a chair to watch both those movies back to back. See what he thinks. That's gonna be tough to watch.
I think I'm going to get him. What is it? The Zek. I'm going to get him a Zek T-shirt. I think he wants one of those.
Oh, jeez.
Electoral Commission, Zimbabwe Electoral. Yes.
I should also clarify that I was talking shit on Trump earlier, and if you're a Trump supporter, just put Biden in place of that. They're all the fucking same. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yes.
I wouldn't. I would hate for anyone to mistake me for a Democrat because I am neither. I think they're all garbage people, and this movie just illustrates why I hate all of them. It's just it's another country, but same bullshit, and just
This is a nonpartisan podcast. Whether you're a Biden supporter, or Trump supporter, or you don't support any of them, we're just here for the listens. So just listen to us, download our podcast. We don't care your political affiliation because we are lowest common denominator podcast. We just want your listens. And also, I don't care your political affiliations. Just don't ever tell me that you're not a supporter of crypto. If not, then just get out of here. I'm kidding on that. So that's our featured movies. I was just joking about crypto. That's our featured movies. But you know what? We have another movie starring Riz Ahmed that both Bruce and Eric have seen. I don't know if both of them recommend. This is going to be spearheaded by Eric Holmes, and then Bruce is going to go chime in on his review of Encounter as well. Wait, Bruce, did you not see Encounter? Yeah, Bruce, you watched it. So Encounter, Eric, start it off. Riz Ahmed. Should be good.
Okay, this one is tough because there is lots to spoil in this, and I don't want to. Do you like? Okay, it's a movie by Michael Pierce, written by Joe Barton and Michael Pierce, same guy who did Beast, which I believe we all love that one.
Yes.
And I'm having. You know what?
Well, how about this?
I'll read the thing. Two brothers embark on a journey with their father, who is trying to protect them from an alien threat. And I guess I can say this is similar to Frailty, because you don't know if the alien threat is real or if Riz Ahmed's character is insane.
That's a good premise. That's a very good premise, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this this one had me from the beginning. Oh, okay, first of all, let me tell you about the soundtrack.
Oh, wait, I'm not gonna. I don't about your soundtrack.
I
Look,
can talk. I can talk
it
about
stars
the
Rory
soundtrack.
Cochran. It stars Rory Cochran. I should have seen this movie. I should have seen
Life
this
is a
movie.
Highway guy.
No, the guy from.
Oh
No.
God, I suck.
No, that's what is it? What's that guy's name from Life is a Highway? Is that Eddie Cochran and Tom Cochran?
John
But
Cochran?
but Rory Cochran is the guy from Dazed and Confused. You know,
Yeah.
he's the guy. Yeah, and then he was in Hostels, and you know, he's a very good actor. He's in CSI. You know, Bruce. You know Rory Cochran, right? You know you're Rory Cochran. You don't. Okay, I can't wait to see it. But anyways,
I do want to mention songs that are in the soundtrack because
Yes.
it just got me all excited, and I can talk about this without spoiling the plot, so that's even better. They started playing Naughty by Nature. I'm like, oh yeah, digging this, and then later on, because this is mostly a road movie. They're driving, and so it's got some elements of Midnight Special in there.
that's what I was thinking when I saw the plot synopsis. Yeah.
But they play Naughty by Nature, and I was like, this is pretty sweet. And then they play Slayer, and then I'm like, oh, I fucking love this movie. And then they play Phil Collins, but not just any Phil Collins. Phil Collins Against All Odds, which may be his first or second best song ever written.
Yes.
And so right away, I'm like, I'm loving the fucking DJ in this movie. But the movie is, I'm really in... with the characters, Riz Ahmed's character and his two kids, Malik Khan and Jay and Bobby, his two sons. I was really enamored with them and like their interactions with each other. This went places I wasn't expecting, and it went places I really appreciated because the place they went doesn't usually go there with things like this, and that's all I can say about it. It was really good. I like this a lot.
Movie co-stars Octavia Spencer, Janina Gavankar, who was also seen, I believe, last year in The Way Back, and also the aforementioned Rory Cochran, an actor I really dearly love. Bruce, Encounter, what did you think of it?
I liked it. I didn't like it quite as much as Eric. And this is a weird movie. I had a journey with this one. I started it out, I really liked it. And then when it started to change, I started to see what was going on. I thought I knew where it was going, and I kind of almost gave up on it. And then I talked to Eric a little bit, and I was like, I'm going to keep going. And then it kind of pulled me back, and I ended up liking it a fair amount. I didn't love it, but I liked it quite a bit. And I would agree that the sons in this are really good. And I think that some of the most surprising elements are, and once again, I'm not going to spoil anything. Some of the most surprising elements are once you find out kind of what the dynamic is between the father and the sons and what's probably happening or not happening. The way that this movie follows the sons and what the sons end up doing in this movie, I think are the most surprising things in the last third of this movie. And I think that I really appreciated how that played out.
Very, very
Quite a bit.
good. So that is Encounter, directed and co-written by Michael Pierce. He co-wrote it with Joe Barton, Eric Holmes. Yes.
There was aspect of this that kind of primed me for president, that really primed my anger button. The idea that you would use violence to solve problems. That seems to be a big theme in a lot of this movie, and it comes to a head at the end. And that, yeah. I almost wish we'd talk spoilers on this, because there's so much about this that this does right, especially towards the end. But I would just I would encourage everyone to watch this, and maybe we talk about it in the Cinematics face group.
Okay.
Facebook
okay, very
group.
cool. Facebook. Oh, okay. You seem very passionate about Encounter. To that point, Eric Holmes, what is your rating overall on Encounter?
This one would be a 4.5.
Okay.
They played Slayer. They played Naughty by Nature. And they played Phil Collins, so we're got another fiver on our hands.
All right, another fiver from Eric is by partly thanks to Naughty by Nature's OPP. Did they play OPP or maybe I don't know. I don't know what song.
Hip Hop Hooray.
Oh, Hip Hop Hooray. 1999. Okay, Naughty by Nature is part of the soundtrack for Encounter. Yes, hey, all of us.
I get my machete. Hang on.
I think
Greg, Bruce, yo.
Our fellow podcaster and buddy Andrew Martin just called me a boomer last week, so I guess that's a boomer thing to say. We all loved Naughty by Nature. And Eric, I apologize for saying that you are part of Generation Y. You're actually part of us. You're part of Generation X. So that is a big correction that I have to mention regarding Andrew Martin correcting us again.
I'm pretty sure I'm Generation Z. I'm pretty young. I'm
You're
like 12.
You're like 12. Encounter, by the way, is
Mentally.
You're mentally. Encounter is streaming on Amazon Prime Video. That is a 5-star from Eric Holmes. Where does Bruce Perky land as far as his ratings go for Encounter?
I would go 3.5 on this one for me.
Solid recommend from Bruce Berkey. 3.5 from Bruce. And wow, I missed a good to excellent movie. That's basically what's going on here. Encounter, Amazon Prime Video. Very solid ratings from both Eric and Bruce. Now, Bruce, I don't know if I don't even know what your recommendation is. Did you just pretend to type this to get my gourd? What the heck are you doing? What is this movie? I'm ignorant.
What?
Is it a Charlie Brown film? Or I don't know.
Treevenge? You're talking about Treevenge?
Eric, have you heard of Treevenge? What the heck is this?
It was a movie that Bruce saw.
Okay.
I don't know if Eric watched it.
I did not.
Oh, it's too bad. This is a lot of the people on our page did end up watching it. I don't know if I was cursed as equally to the amount that I was praised for this movie. I think this is okay, this movie is only 16 minutes long, so it's a short. So it's an eisy watch.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
It's from 2008. You can go to YouTube and just put in Treevenge full movie. It'll pop up. It's directed by Jason Eisner, who did Hobo with a Shotgun. I am not a huge fan of Hobo with a Shotgun. This is his masterpiece, in my opinion, not Hobo with a Shotgun.
Was it made before Hobo with a Shotgun?
Yes. Okay. Treevenge. Well, what is Treevenge? If you've ever wondered about the misery that Christmas trees go through... from the point that they are picked out, growing in the ground, cut down, and taken to people's homes. And if you ever wonder how they would get back at that injustice that's been put upon them, then Treevenge is your movie. Pre-warning, this is very, very, very gory in about the last 4 minutes.
Okay, okay. I'm looking right now. There's a little bit of a space. I'm going to edit that out. Ken Cunningham said on the Treevenge thread, Ken Cunningham, just a trusted reviewer and buddy of ours on the Cinematics Facebook group, he says, well, that was something. Ryan Smith said, LOL, wow. And then Chad Wilfong, our buddy Chad Wilfong, who's been previously part of a guest host on our show, he goes, I liked it for what it was, bloodier than expected until I saw the guy who did it was the guy who did Hobo with a Shotgun. So the trees are pissed. So, okay. And then Joseph Bridges, and a couple more comments. I definitely wasn't expecting a story about a genocide perpetuated against Christmas trees and the revenge that follows. Peter Beta, the chairman of the board for MFC, what is it? Middle Class Film Class. I don't know how to do those M's. Middle Class Film Class, he says, firmly plants the landing. I guess Pete Abeta thinks he's a comedian in the friggin' Catskills. Good job, Pete, on that really nice dad joke line. That's kind of dad jokes I'd make too. Last but definitely not least is our buddy Brian O'Connell said, what in the glorious hell? So that was listeners, if you want to check out Treevenge, a bunch of our members liked it as well, or like Brian said, he said it's what in the glorious hell. Are you going to be watching Treevenge, Eric? What do you think? Gonna give it a shot?
Oh yeah, Chad Wilfong says those trees are pissed. I gotta watch some pissed ass trees.
Okay, so that is Bruce's weekly recommendation for Bruce usually comes up with something from Shudder or something really inspiring in Giallo. It's so cool that he just decided to say, hey, you know what? This week I'm just gonna have fun. Put up that 16-minute YouTube thing, Treevenge. All right, Eric, you're gonna blast through your 3 recommendations. You have approximately 60 seconds, 20 seconds each. Let's go.
Okay. 2, directed by Mar Tarraganoa. 2 people, a man and a woman, wake up naked with their abdomens attached to each other, and they have to
Ew.
figure out why they're there. And who
Where's
they
the
are.
streaming? Where's the streaming too?
It's streaming on Netflix, and it
Is it a new film? Is that how did you get?
yeah,
This is weird.
it defaults. Just so you know, on Netflix it defaults to English, and the English overdubs are not great.
Okay.
You're gonna want to switch to, I think it's in Spanish, European Spanish.
Okay.
Really good, really good. Just a really tight thriller. Greg, you'll like this. It's about an hour and 5 minutes long.
Oh yeah. I'm right after this. I'm gonna watch two. Yes. 65 minutes. Very, very good. Will Bruce like it? Will Bruce think two is very good as well as much
I
as
think
you?
so. It goes places at the end. But this is about as tight of a thriller as you can have. And I mean, you got two people sewn together in a room. Not much you can do, but they make it work.
Does it get boring? Yeah,
No.
because it just seems like, oh, okay.
No,
Because sometimes those
that's
movies,
why I say it's an hour and 5 minutes. So they get in and out. They're like, like sometimes you'll see a movie where it's like 2.5 hours long. It's like, dude, this should have been 15 minutes short. What was Bad Luck Bang or Looney Porn?
yeah, I'm gonna edit that. Yeah, thank you, Eric, very, very much for it.
But this movie,
Kidding.
This movie is an hour-long movie. It knew it was an hour-long movie, and it added 5 minutes to it because you have to have titles and credits and stuff.
That's amazing.
But yeah,
That's
this
amazing.
one's very good. I think it's probably 3.5, 4-star movie.
Very good, very good. 3.5, 4-star movie.
We'll go 3.5. I think most people will
3.5.
be fair with 3.5. Next we have.
You went to the theaters for this one. You went to the theaters. Don't Look Up.
Yes. Don't Look Up.
No, more importantly, do they pay their money to see this movie? Worth it? Don't Look Up.
Okay, remember how
Comet
pissed
hitting
off,
Earth?
Remember how pissed off I was with President?
Yep.
I was just as pissed off with Don't Look Up.
Yes.
The thing that made me not want to pull my hair out of my head and punch the screen, run up and punch the theater screen and Don't Look Up was, first of all, it was hilarious. This is like a really good dark comedy, and there was a comet looming. So when stupid people do stupid things, well, I guess you're all gonna die then. They try to tell you. But this movie, I was kind of surprised because it's Adam McKay, so I figured lean more left. This movie holds everyone's feet to the fire. There's even a scene where the president played by Meryl Streep, who doesn't give two shits about it. Like they're telling him there's a meteor heading towards Earth, and their first thought was, well, just wait, we'll be right back. And then about 3 hours later, they rescheduled the meeting.
It's funny.
It's like, what? Do they not know why we're here? Oh yeah, the meteor's coming to Earth, and this doesn't seem important to them. It's like, we'll fit you in sometime tomorrow. Like that's just how much they don't give a shit until they're worried that someone might leak it to the press. And they're like, well, you can't do that. And they're like, dude, everyone's gonna die. Yeah, but you can't do that. And it was just infuriating. But then like that, there comes a part where they're at the bar and they got they're there with the real people, and one person like here's what oh, you're the guy from TV. Yeah. And what are you guys talking about? You talking about that meteor thing or whatever, that moon you guys found? I'm like, it wasn't a moon, it's a meteor. You know what? Never mind. We don't have to. And then they tell them, and this is the part because they're talking with the people now. They're talking with you and me. This is the part where, yeah, we're the people and we're not going to take this anymore. Cut to riots in the street, buildings burning, like breaking glass. Like even the common folk don't know how to handle shit because we're all a bunch of hairless apes and idiots. And this movie just paints that perfect. This movie is cynical as hell, but it's kind of accurate on a lot of things. And you hear people saying, "Idiocracy is a documentary." And this is going to be that next movie that people say that about, and it's not even a documentary. It's just holding a mirror to ourselves. And one thing I like about this is I've even seen myself in this. And I can't remember what movie we talked about, but we talked about a movie that kind of like you could watch this movie, and if you see yourself in it, you'll reject it because if you want to become a better person, a lot of doing that is find the flaws in yourself and make them better. And you can see yourself in this movie because everyone's represented here. I would watch this movie find yourself in it, and then look into yourself and go, I should probably change that, and then do it. And then I think that's probably the most value added this movie could have. Unfortunately, I think, because I've seen a couple reviews on this, and a lot of it was, not funny, this movie's stupid, blah, blah, blah. And
yes.
no one would ever, whatever, dude. This movie's great.
This movie's great. I'm guessing this is at least a 4.5 for you, right?
We got a hat trick. We got another 5-star.
5-star banger. Love it. Eric Holmes giving 5 stars like it's like there's no tomorrow. I love that. I'm not joking. I love that. 5 stars. Eric Holmes for Don't Look Now. Don't Look Up, right? Don't Look Up.
Yep.
Remember when we did Don't Look Now, Bruce, from a year and a half ago? So are you excited about Don't Look Up? Are you an Adam McKay guy? It's when he got serious, like with The Vice and Big Short. You like all that version of Adam McKay?
I haven't seen either of them, actually.
That's amazing. You haven't seen The Big Short. Oh, did you like The Big Short, Eric?
I like The Big Short. I didn't watch Vice.
I
I didn't watch
I haven't
Vice
seen Vice
because
either.
the same thing. I was worried about this. I was like, I get it. Your side's good and their side's bad. I don't give a fuck.
Bruce, knowing yourself.
But I mean, with this fair, as wide of a canvas he's spread on this, maybe I will give Vice a shot. But
yeah, same here. I should have. To be honest, I should have seen Vice. I have not seen Vice as of yet. That said, Bruce, knowing your comedic sensibilities, I think you would love The Big Short. It is right up your alley. So speaking of something that's right up our alley or different alleys, before we go into an alley, Eric, don't we need a little bit of a musical interlude because we've been audioing the whole night? Is there someone in that we can bring this week for our musical guest?
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Let me do a quick test, a Peta Beta test. Yo, Pete, drop that beat.
Who's in the box? What's in the box? You lie! No! What's in the fucking box?
All right, we're back. This time it's not for a What's in the Box segment. We're using that as a catch-all Peta Beta music segment for the Dean Koontz. What is it called? A Dean Koontz Wallet Watch. Dean Koontz Wallet Watch. Bruce, can you talk about this? Why is this? Okay, you know what? We're just going to make sure this is actually, I'm not going to throw it to Bruce. I'm going to throw it to Eric. Why is Topkapi, why was it your choice for the Dean Koontz Wallet Watch, our monthly wallet watch? Eric?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I watched it. I liked it, and and then we were gonna do it for the wallet, or we had the, what was it? The Captain Coons,
the Dean Koontz Wallet Watch.
Yeah, the Dean Koontz Wallet Watch.
Just remember, DKWW, baby, yeah. Dean Koontz Wallet Watch. That's it.
It wasn't the Captain Kangaroo Walrus Wrench. See, I told you I was 12. Anyway, yeah, watch. Ever since I watched Rafifi, I've loved Jules Dassin, and then I think Greg, you were the one that made me watch Brute Force or recommended I watch it.
Yeah, we covered it. Anderson, I covered it for the Patreon as well.
Brute Force. I put Brute Force in. I'm like, there's no way this is gonna be like Rafifi's so good. There's no this is his apex, and everything else is going to be lesser than Rafifi.
Understood.
But Brute Force was really good too. I'm like, fuck. Okay.
Great prison movie. Yeah.
And then I hadn't seen Topkapi, and it was on, what was it on? I think
Amazon Prime Video.
Amazon Prime, yes.
Yeah.
They got a couple Jules Dassin movies in there. Unfortunately, not Rafifi. I don't know why you can't find that online, but you can't. But this one is a good. This one's another heist movie. Another really good heist movie, and as far as I'm concerned, Jules Dassin's 3 for 3, and I think I'm gonna watch Naked City next, and then just kind of go down his whole filmography because everything I've seen by him has been excellent.
Okay, the thing about Jules Dassin, or if you're a bourgeois, or if you're international, if you're an expatriate, when Jules Dassin actually moved to Europe, I think in the mid to late 50s, and then he eventually pursued his career after being blacklisted and lived a life in Europe, Topkapi being one of these films shot in Europe. Some of the locales in Topkapi shot in Istanbul, Turkey. A lot of people in Europe, we call him Jules Dassin. They call him, Bruce, do you know what they call him in Europe? How they pronounce his last name? In France?
Jules Dassin? I don't know.
You can call him here in the States Jules Dassin, or he also went by Jules Dassin. So, anyways, just FYI, little Jules Dassin. So,
Bruce,
Bruce,
I will say it like that from now on.
Yeah, no, no, I like Dassin. I like that Jules Dassin. Very has a brute force, the Naked City kind of vibe to it. Really love that. But anyways, Topkapi is it's a very simple plot. There's a woman who likes rich things. She loves emeralds. She specifically has her eye on like 3 green emeralds held in a museum, and she has this cockamamie idea to get sort of just her former lover, played by Maximilian Schell, back on board to help her steal these green emeralds. And that's the plot. Oh, by the way, I mentioned Melina Mercouri plays a main woman, and she eventually became Jules's wife several years in real life, several years later. But Melina Mercouri, Maximilian Schell, they're supposedly the leads in this film. Bruce, I don't know if you consider them the leads. I consider the actual lead this actor you may know called Peter Ustinov. He plays Arthur Simon Simpson. He plays a buffoon in this movie. I believe he won an Oscar for his work in Topkapi. He's excellent, very, very, very good in this movie. Bruce, what did you think overall of Topkapi as a heist film? Was it entertaining for you?
Absolutely entertaining. Just like we talked about schemes and antiques, this kind of fills a similar hole in your creative gut. This is satisfying filmmaking with just great characters, great settings. It's not super complicated as far as like thematics. It's kind of complicated as far as the heist goes. But yeah, it's really fun. And Peter Ustinov pretty much seems to steal every movie he's in. I don't know what that's all about, but he's amazing. A couple things I want to point out. This isn't quite as high up as Rififi for me, because I thought that movie is... There's a difference, because here's the big difference to me. Rififi has... So a lot of these movies have a similar thing. Rififi has them gathering the team, and then the middle of the movie is the heist, and then the last third of the movie is the after effects. And I love how that plays out in that movie. That movie's also a little bit darker. This is a little more broadly comedic. Whereas this is more setting up the team and then building towards the heist and finding out what their plan is and all that kind of stuff. One thing I love about this movie, though, not a spoiler, but the fact that an early event in this movie causes the authorities to be onto them to some degree. And it creates a whole level of tension throughout this movie. The fact that they have to not only pull off this seemingly undoable heist, but they also have to do it with basically the cops watching them the whole time. And I thought that was a really nice kind of element to it.
They have to do it with the cops watching them, and they don't know.
Yeah.
Because the buffoon gets caught on an earlier thing they do. And then he's like, oh, tell us what. So the cops are in on everything.
Yep.
And the cops are in on everything. And they don't know the cops are in on everything. It's like,
right.
Shit, how are they going to pull this off?
It's like the classic suspense thing, right? Because it's got the suspense of just the difficulty of the heist and knowing that at any moment they could do something that would set off alarms and things. And then you have the other aspect of like, oh my God, if they do just the wrong thing, they're going to set off the authorities. So it's like this double tension that kind of gets built up. And it's just also the setting. This is, seems to be a little bit of soundstage work, but mostly on location, apparently, in Istanbul, Turkey. And there's a bunch of scenes of them on the roof of the big museum that holds the jewels and everything. And that
Bunch of buildings, yeah.
Yeah, appears to be the actual location from what I can tell after I Google Earthed it that night when I was watching it, and it looks exactly the same. This is just great fun, bravura filmmaking from the 60s. This is a easy. Just watch it. You'll love it.
I think one of the great things Jules Dassin, how do you say the last name?
Jules Dassin.
No, the railway.
Oh, Dassin.
Dassin.
All right, Jules Dassin. What he does great in this and Brute Force and Rififi is he takes the time. We know we're there to see the heist. We know we're there to see the prison break. You get a little bit of character at the beginning, and then a lot of it is just build up. And so when they finally get to the heist or the prison break, you know everything you need to know because they spent that time. They spent the time setting the stakes, okay, you're going to be here. You're going to be here. You know the geography. You know everything there. It's almost like they're bringing you in with you to pull off this heist. So when they pull it off, when one thing goes wrong, you know exactly because you were there the whole time while they were setting everything up. It's just really fun to watch.
There's one heartbreaking thing about Topkapi, though. The end credits are so cool that I wanted to immediately after the end credits see a sequel to Topkapi, which it was made in 1964. It never happened. And I felt so bad because I wanted to follow these characters yet again for a sequel. Do you guys agree on that as far as the ending of Topkapi?
Yes. I
Yes.
actually kind of, well, yeah, because it's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, look,
I almost said something, but I kind of saw this as almost a sequel to Rafifi, because it's kind of, there's so many similarities between the two of them, and
It's
again,
almost like
you can't find Rafifi online. Watch this. This you can find online. This is like the closest you're going to get to Rafifi without actually watching Rafifi.
if you're a Brian De Palma fan, Brian De Palma, I love him. I love Brian De Palma, but occasionally he'll do an homage. And the end, the final act of Topkapi regarding the heist has De Palma copied one scene. I'm 100% sure that he saw Topkapi, the Tom Cruise sequence when he's just he's floating with that little wire and he's trying to not move. That is lifted straight from Jules Dassin's Topkapi, going back to Jules Dassin being an innovator. That's Topkapi ended up being actually, it's a heist movie, but in many ways it ended up being a very pivotal influence for Mission Impossible. And Jules Dassin has a way like Brute Force. It really revolutionized the way prison movies are made in a certain way. And of course, what was that other movie? What, Night in the City or something? That's a movie that actually influenced how New York crime dramas are made with Law and Order. So Dassin, even though he was blacklisted in the early 50s, he's had an amazing career. He was already close to iconic performance, iconic director status when he was in the States. And we still haven't seen Thieves Highway. I heard that's a very good Jules Dassin movie. But eventually, when he went to Europe, he actually had a very good career in Europe as well, highlighting, of course, with the 1964 release Topkapi. I'm giving Topkapi, for me, this is a 3.5-star film. Solid recommend for me. Bruce Perky, your rating on Topkapi?
I would give it 4 stars. I like it quite a bit.
4 stars. Eric Holmes.
Rafifi is one of my favorite movies, and this doesn't quite get there, but it gets close enough, and so I can't go any lower than 4.5.
4.5. Wow, that is very, very cool. That is it. We had a very meaty show. Just a lot of stuff. We covered. What's in the box? I do this every single week. So what's in the box? Like Eric
It's
said,
a bit, people. It's a
Eric,
bit.
it's
Bruce,
a bit.
you do it on purpose because it's part of the show now.
Yes. Again, listeners, if you have movies for Bruce Perky that you want him to watch, email Bruce Perky at bruceperky@gmail.com. And what is the sound effect that you're using, Eric Holmes? I apologize.
Perk Tuppy, what's in the boxy?
What's in the box? Topkapi. Yes.
Well, this was suggested by Frankie Holmes.
Oh.
What a familiar sort of sounding name that is. Serendipity from 2001.
Sweet.
Serendipity. John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale. How do I know that? It's because I actually covered that press junket. I still wish I had the audio cassette from those interviews. Serendipity. That's romantic comedy starring John Cusack. Sounds, unless it say anything. I don't know if Bruce Perky's gonna be digging Serendipity, but we'll see. We'll see how he feels.
I have a story about the first time seeing Serendipity, but maybe I'll just save that for next episode.
Save it. Yeah.
Save it.
It's a good one.
Okay. All right. So that is Bruce's. It's not a Teen Kuntz wallet watch. It is actually a What's in the Box segment, which Bruce Perky does 3 out of 4 times in a month, 3 times a month. So again, please email Bruce Perky if you have any question, any movie recommendations to put in the box. BrucePerky@gmail.com. Eric Holmes, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Actually, yes, but you know what? I'll save that for
Next week?
next week or the week after, because you mentioned that Matt Stillman got to the 500 and is getting close to the 600.
Yeah, he's got to get to 600.
And we've had him and Joe Bridges listed some of their favorite movies.
Joseph Bridges has probably had over 600. I think he said. I think he mentioned.
Yeah, but I'm saying on that thing they listed some of their favorite. So I would say if you're past the 500 mark, go ahead and. I already got Matt Stillman's, I already got Joseph Bridges, and maybe get a couple more people and just kind of blast through like some of everyone's favorite movies that they saw this year for
Good
the
idea.
first time. Not necessarily 2021 movies, although they can be, but just of the 500 movies you saw, or like 10 of your favorites of those 500.
Yes, congratulations again to Matt Stillman for eventually reaching 600. Again, Joseph Bridges, I believe he's already surpassed 500. Joseph Bridges and Matt Stillman, all fairness aside, those guys are the pretty much the kingpins when it comes to actually recommending movies.
Joseph
on a
Bridges is probably at 10,000 at this point.
It's amazing. Those guys do such yeoman's work every single day. I wake up and they post some really interesting movies that I haven't seen. I get jealous that they actually got to see it, and I feel so bad. Eventually, also, hey, Bruce and Eric, did you know this? Like, me being a boomer, I realize now whenever I actually want to actually see what a movie, any reactions to certain movies that I might want to see, I'll actually go to our Cinematics Facebook group. And thanks to people like Matt Stillman, Joseph Bridges, Chad Wilfong, Nathan Day, all those people, Andrew Martin, I'll just type in a movie and I'll see people's reactions. Do you guys ever do that? Bruce, Eric, have you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for example, for this month's Cinematics Patreon, Anderson and I were covering a movie called, you mentioned Hairless Ape earlier in the podcast, Eric Holmes. And Anderson's pick for this month is a movie called The Hairy Ape from 1944. And my 1944 pick is a movie called The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. I looked up The Miracle of Morgan's Creek over at the Cinematics Facebook group. And do you guys have any guess who actually saw it?
Joseph Bridges.
Joseph Bridges. Bruce, what do you think?
I'm going to say Joseph Bridges.
You're going to say Joseph Bridges. Oh, you guys have a lot of faith in Joseph Bridges.
Or could be Angie Clark.
Or Angie Clark.
Okay,
oh.
Dark Horse gets in there. She sees some
good.
stuff sometimes. So.
We love Angie Clark. But I guess you guys don't love Matt Stillman because that was the person who saw it. It was Matt Stillman. And I was reading his mini review of The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. And by the way, we're going to talk about that on Patreon. But Bruce, Eric, can you name one of your favorite comedic performances by a female? Just right off the top of your head, or just, it doesn't have to be your favorite. It doesn't have to be
Strong in almost everything she's in SNL.
Oh, very, very good. Okay, Bruce, you have something that you want to throw out there?
Madeline Kahn.
Oh, very good. Yes, in anything, she's amazing.
Probably Young Frankenstein, or maybe High Anxiety, but Young Frankenstein, I love her so much in there.
I was just about to say, I was like, I can't do Cecily Strong because that's TV, but I was about to say Madeline Kahn and Yellowbeard, or just anything.
In anything.
Yeah.
Eric Holmes, didn't you review Yellowbeard months ago on the show?
That's a good one.
It
doesn't hold up.
Hold up because of the woke culture. Doesn't hold up. Not really.
My parents took me to see that movie.
Oh, okay. So
that's the age I grew up in.
Wait.
Take him in the back of the pickup with no seatbelts, throw a beer in the back and a couple cigarettes, and take him to Yellowbeard.
Oh, wait a second. I thought President was our unanimous ultimate find your film pick of the week. Are you saying Bruce Yellowbeard might be our number one for this week? Woke culture be damned? No. Well, anyways, I'm halfway through The Miracle of Morgan's Creek, directed and written by Preston Sturges, starring this actress named Betty Hutton. Absolutely blown away. This has to be one of the best comedic performances I've seen, period. So really looking forward to you guys. I don't know if you guys like Sullivan's Travels or any of Preston Sturges' material, but this one is just absolutely fantastic. And who knows, maybe down the road, maybe we'll do some kind of Preston Sturges thing. Oh, by the way, next week, listeners, check out I've been pushing this for the last 3 weeks. My fault. What are we going to do, Bruce? Do you know what we're going to do for next week? Because you do our show notes. You're the show organizer.
Oh, we're going to do the 8 Shades of Numi. What are we calling it? I don't know.
8 Shades. Yes, 8 Shades of Dean Koontz and Numi Rapace. I don't know how to pronounce it. Maybe Rapace. Numi number, yeah, and we're gonna cover a bunch of.
I call her
movies.
Rapace.
I don't know. Maybe I might see. A lot of people haven't been too keen on Lamb, but Lamb is getting a lot of critically acclaimed reviews here. I know Bruce, you didn't like it. So, yes.
You know how she got her last name?
Rapace. Yes.
Yeah. Her and her husband got married, and they made up a last name, and that's what they both go by now.
Very good.
Rapace is a made-up name. Or a name that they both chose to go as their name after they got married. That is very, very interesting. Have you seen Lamb yet, Eric? Have you seen Lamb? No. Oh, yeah, I haven't seen Lamb yet. I don't think Bruce recommended Lamb, but we're going to be covering what happened to Monday next week. Just going to do a little rewind on that. And what was the other movie, Bruce, that we're going to cover for Rapace?
What was the other movie?
The Trip.
The Trip. The Trip. We're going to be covering that. And
Eric's like, oh yeah.
I'm gonna throw a little curve. This is gonna be a little thing. I want all three of us to, after just covering those two movies for next week from the Noomi show, we're gonna actually, each of us, we're gonna do a very quick, maybe 1 minute, 2 minute recommend of another Noomi Rapace or Rapace film that we also love. So we're gonna keep that in secret to each other. We don't know what. I'm not gonna know Eric, and I'm not gonna know Eric's pick or Bruce's pick. Maybe we might overlap. Who knows what'll happen? I know exactly what my pick is for next week because I really, really love this Noomi Rapace or Rapace film. Before we go, also we're gonna be reviewing a movie called Drive My Car that just received that foreign film that is getting a lot of acclaim. And do you guys know how long Drive My Car is? Do you guys have any idea?
2 hours and 55 minutes.
Yes. You ready for that, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw 2. That was an hour, so the extra hour I'll apply it to 2, so it'll even out.
Okay, so we'll be reviewing Drive My Car. There's some people in our members group who've already seen Drive My Car, and they also love that movie as well. So it's going to be a Drive My Car, Noomi Rapace week, and we'll see what'll happen as far as Bruce's pick. What was your pick again, Bruce? I'm just getting senile again for the What's in the Box. What was that? What's in the Box pick again? That you just got? Serendipity. Oh, hey Eric. Let's not watch that movie together, okay? Let's let Bruce twist in the wind with that Serendipity pick. What do you think? Or are you gonna help him out?
I've already seen that movie a bunch of times.
Okay, I'm disgusted.
A bunch of times.
All right, okay, very good. No, to be honest, I actually like Serendipity. So who knows? Maybe Bruce might actually fall in love with this wonderful romantic comedy known as Serendipity. Before we go, as per usual, Bruce Berkey, final thoughts, final words.
Just a quick advice: if you go to watch Treevenge, it will default to dubbed, and you want to make sure you turn it back to Christmas Tree and get the subtitles there.
Okay, but what a festive, insightful thing that Bruce had to say. Yeah, dry wit. We love it. We'll see you guys next week here on Find Your Film. Take care, guys.